Now at 6, another first alert weather day as parts of Southcentral Alaska sit in up to a foot of snow, with snow still falling tonight. Take a look at that footage on your screen. Those flakes are flying outside. And on top of that, temperatures are expected to continue tumbling as the week progresses. The Anchorage School District allowed high school hockey and basketball games to continue today, along with after-school childcare, but all the other sports and activities were canceled.
We do have live team coverage tonight, covering different angles of the continued conditions. Joe Allgood standing by with a first-hand look at what many are experiencing outside.
But we're going to start with meteorologist Jackie Purcell, who's been tracking all of these developments. Jackie.
Yeah, this winter storm has produced a lot of snow, record-setting numbers for Anchorage and perhaps other areas as those numbers get compiled once it finally comes to an end. So this is why we continued the first alert for Southcentral Alaska with warnings and advisories even going into Wednesday. Additional snowfall tonight, but it'll be lighter and turning to snow showers by early tomorrow, maybe another 2 to as much as 7 inches. But those numbers do get impressive. Also for the Homer area, high surf advisory. They could see waves 5 to 9 feet on the Spit. Let's talk about these record-setting days, both Monday and Tuesday. Daily record set with 9.4 inches on Monday, 8.8 on Tuesday, but we're still compiling that number. So check in with us at 10 o'clock. We'll have an update. Here's a look at that 24-hour change. Some of those areas still seeing positive numbers in front of their digits because of the brief warm-up. This is a look at the last 18 hours. You can kind of see why we got a lot of snow in the Anchorage area. That kind of band just kind of continued to swirl over the Kenai Peninsula as well as the Anchorage area, with a number of warnings as well as advisories. In fact, Whittier, it's a blizzard warning because of very strong wind gusts up to at least 40 miles per hour tonight, with other areas of the state embracing for change, and that means more cold temperatures. But additional snowfall, it shouldn't be much. So here's a look at some of those numbers, about another inch or so for the Southcentral area. We'll have more coming up in just a few minutes, but again, first alert going into this evening, lifting by Wednesday. And the snow does continue to pile up all around Anchorage, and finding a place to put it is proving a challenge. Reporter Joe Allgood joins us live in front of one of those massive snow berms.
Yeah, I'm in the parking lot of the post office here on Northern Lights, and behind me is a huge pile of snow. This thing is about, I'd say, twice the height of me, and I'm 6'4", so you can tell this is a massive amount of snow, and these berms are only piling up more and more as more snow is plowed across the city. And as that happens, the lanes on the roads are getting narrower, so it's important to drive slowly, drive safely. And of course, as people are driving around, they are also getting stuck in berms across Anchorage. So it's a good idea to carry a shovel just in case. That way you can dig yourself out or dig someone else out if you come across it and you want to be a good Samaritan. And of course, you also have to shovel your own driveway and sidewalks, and that's always a challenge, but make sure you don't overdo it. It can be pretty exhausting, so you don't want to overexert yourself. And of course, as always, it's just good to have fun. This isn't great packing snow, but it is, still snow, so it's a lot of fun. Joe Allgood, Alaska's news source.
There it is.
There he is, at 6'4", Joe Allgood.
6'4", that's a big snow berm right there.
Yep.
Of course, the snow, it's making it tough for anyone that's driving around Anchorage.
And our Lauren Maxwell has more on Anchorage roads and what the city and state are doing now to try and clear them.
Blowing snow, limited visibility, and lanes that were anyone's guess. It was a rough ride for those who braved Anchorage roads.
Visibility gets bad and the berms are getting higher, and that's the biggest concern, is kind of getting pulled off.
Both the city and state are plowing around the clock, although sometimes their efforts are hard to see. The state says the still falling snow kept it focused on keeping the Glen and Seward highways clear, which means by Tuesday afternoon, roads like Diamond and C Street had hardly seen plows.
I was surprised that more wasn't done, to be honest with you.
Meanwhile, the city is working to clear its priority roads and sidewalks.
We have new graders out on the street. They're out working right now, and as well as new trackless, which focuses on the sidewalks and trails. So we're doing our best to get everything out there.
But when it comes to neighborhoods, those will have to wait. The city says it takes about 12 hours after the snow stops to clear major streets and sidewalks, which means it isn't likely they'll start on neighborhoods before Wednesday afternoon. Their message?
Just remain patient, stay safe, and we will be in your neighborhood as soon as we can.
Lauren Maxwell, Alaska's news source.
Now, if you would like to learn more about when city snowplows will visit your neighborhood or where the plows are right this moment, you can find a link to the municipal plow page on our website.
Lots going on, lots to pay attention to. And up in Fairbanks, the city continues to recover from the multi-week cold snap that finally broke on Monday.
Yeah, as the city continues to collect trash that accumulated when operations were briefly suspended last week, the borough wrapping up the clearing of its transfer sites. These locations saw garbage pile up over the weekend as the borough's contractor, Alaska Waste, postponed cleanup due to the cold. Now, with the borough's help, we're told that trucks have been working extra hours to get the excess material to the landfill. The borough mayor calling it a community-wide effort.
Our contractor was working within the weather that they could get their equipment and their staff out. They ran the minimum required on Friday, but then we're not able to get any trucks out to the transfer sites on Saturday and Sunday. So there was certainly a good amount of buildup as our community continues to use them. But since then, it's been a really good response.
Hopkins says he expects the extra garbage to be cleaned up by the end of the day if everything goes smoothly. President Trump publicly criticized Republican Senator Lisa Murkowski today during a meeting with House Republicans.
Political reporter Will Courtney tells us that comes as the senators are working to restore health care subsidies that expired January 1st. Will, details.
Yeah, John, Augusta, Murkowski and Sullivan are both racing to restore those subsidies, but they face an uphill battle without support from the president or House Republican leadership. The subsidies expired January 1st, impacting 28,000 Alaskans. That's about 4% of the state's population. And for some families, healthcare premiums now consume more than 50% of their yearly income. Despite the president criticizing Murkowski's previous vote against his healthcare plan during his first term, the senator says she remains committed to finding a solution by the end of January. Spokespersons for both Murkowski and Sullivan tell me today conversations continue in the Capitol on extending the subsidies. Murkowski and Sullivan were two of the only 4 Republicans who voted against their party in December to try and pass an extension. That measure failed, and now the specifics on any new plans are still in flux. That includes whether those who already paid higher costs will be refunded.
The main impact isn't just that someone's going without health insurance, but they're trying to make a difficult decision on whether they can afford to pay their mortgage or to run their business and have healthcare coverage at the same time.
You've just got to make sure that you've got the votes for it. And my hope is that the White House gets engaged and gets behind something when they see that you have bipartisan support.
Congressman Begich was at that meeting with President Trump Tuesday morning, Alaska time. But during that meeting, the president did not mention the subsidies. Senator Sullivan also backs reforms, including health savings accounts that would send money directly to Alaskans instead of insurance companies. Murkowski has not said whether she supports or opposes that approach.
Thanks for listening. Click subscribe so you can get the latest podcast from Alaska's news source automatically. And stay up to date with breaking news and in-depth reporting available for free 24/7 with the Alaska's news source app.